For the last couple of months, Konami has been doing the 2020 Create a Card project, which is a way that players can vote for whatever theme they want to see get a brand new world premiere card. And to say that there were upsets in this poll would be an understatement. Decks like Mermails and Lightsworns, which were fan favorites before the poll even started, got knocked out in round 1, which was really crazy for a lot of players. And honestly, I'm kind of okay that Lightsworns or Mermails or even Frogs didn't win the poll. I think that those decks have had plenty of time in plenty of different formats to see tons of competitive play, whereas many of the other decks in the poll either haven't seen competitive play ever or haven't seen competitive play in quite a while. And now we're down to the finals, Inzectors versus Photons. Obviously, Inzectors have seen more competitive play than Photons, historically speaking, but it's been quite a while since the deck actually was being played at tournaments, and I really feel like, as crazy as this poll was, both of the final decks could be viable with just one good new card. In today's video, I want to give you a brief overview of what the two archetypes are capable of, what are some of their better cards, just to give you guys more of an idea of which one to vote for if you're stuck between the two. I think either one is a great choice. I'm not even going to mention the one that I'm going to vote for in today's video. I'm just going to break down what I feel the better cards of the two archetypes are, and you guys can come up with your own opinion. Oh, and don't worry, I will make sure to put a link in the description below to where you can vote for your favorite choice. I'm pretty sure the poll goes for the next couple of days. First up, I want to begin by talking about the major starter cards in the two different decks. For Inzectors, you have Dragonfly and Centipede, which were the main pieces for most of the combos in all forms of Inzectors. These cards are pretty interesting. Once per turn, you can equip an Inzector monster from your hand or graveyard to them, and then you get a trigger effect if the equipped card is sent to the graveyard. So for example, with Dragonfly, you get to special summon an Inzector from your deck. With Centipede, you get to search an Inzector card. Both of these cards work very well in combination with Inzector Ladybug and Hornet, which are the main cards that you want to equip to them because they have powerful effects while they're equipped to a monster. Hornet can send itself to the graveyard to pop a card on either side of the field, and Ladybug can send itself to the graveyard to increase the level of the equipped monster. Both of these cards are very good and have been used in many combos. You guys can probably already see how the deck is supposed to work. You want to summon the Dragonfly, equip one of those, then either increase its level or pop a card and special summon Centipede from your deck and do it all over again, because now you have those monsters in the graveyard to equip to your Inzectors on the field. With Photons, it's a little bit more tricky to narrow down what the main starter cards are, because many of the cards act more as extenders when you already control Photons or Galaxy monsters, but I would say that the biggest two starters that you want to open are Photon Orbital and Galaxy Soldier. So Photon Orbital is pretty cool. It's sort of like a better Union monster. You can target a Photon or Galaxy you control, and then equip this from your hand or field to that target, and then you get a searching effect by sending it to the graveyard. So that's pretty nice. That is like one of the main cards in the archetype. Galaxy Soldier, I'm sure you've seen in a lot of other decks because it can very easily make Cyber Dragon Infinity. Of course, you can still go for Infinity if you really want to, but in most cases you're trying to do other things. It is just a really good searcher that also puts a free body on the board, which is really good because, like I said, many of the cards in the deck want cards on the field. Other good starters would be things like Photon Thrasher to put a free body on the board, which is very important for many of your extenders, and also maybe even a small Cyber Dragon engine to get to Cyber Repair Plant to search out that all-important Galaxy Soldier. For extenders, I'll start with Photons this time. We have cards like Photon Vanisher and Galaxy Knight, two cards that not only put bodies on the field for your Link summons or Xyz summons, but also set you up for your later combos. Galaxy Expedition and Galaxy Zero are two very important spell cards for putting monsters on the field. These are going to be some of your best cards in your opening hand as long as you do have a setup to start your combos. For Inzectors, I already mentioned Hornet and Ladybug, which aren't very good by themselves but are very good in combination with Dragonfly and Centipede, but also you have cards like Inzector Sword or Inzector Gigamantis, two cards that are almost exclusively used while you are comboing off. With these cards, you're often searching them only to destroy them with your own Inzector Hornet to special summon more Inzectors from your graveyard. Keep in mind here that, like I said, Inzector Dragonfly and Centipede are not hard once per turns, so if you use their effects and then use them for a Link summon summon or Xyz summon, you can then revive them and use their effects once again. So now that we know the main starters and some of the biggest extenders, let's talk about what these decks are actually trying to do. What are they trying to set up? What are they trying to end on? And this time I'll start on Inzectors. So I would say that with this deck, many of the Inzector extra deck monsters are not very good. Their two Xyz monsters are all right, but nothing really crazy by modern standards. The Link monster is actually a lot better than both of the Xyz monsters. Nothing too overpowered at this point, but it does have a lot of potential. Realistically, with Inzectors, you're trying to do other things than end on the actual Inzector extra deck monsters. For example, because of Inzector Ladybug, you can very easily not only make rank 3s as you would expect, but also rank 4s and 5s, and that's how they were used a lot in the past to OTK the opponent. Nowadays though, because of the lack of restrictions on their effects, I would say that this deck would most likely be a Link spam deck because you have so many ways to put monsters on the field. They don't have a tuner as of right now, but that's not to say that they couldn't actually use a tuner or use Helki Firebacks combos. And then going second, they could use cards like Inzector Hornet, like they always have, to break boards and OTK the opponent. With Photons, you actually do have some really important extra deck monsters for the archetype that you are trying to end on every single turn 1. Number 90, Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord, as well as Galaxy Eyes Soulflare Dragon are both really good monsters. Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord has a negation effect for your opponent's monster's effects, and Soulflare Dragon is sort of like a Trident in some cases, not quite as good, but still pretty comparable. Don't forget, you also have Galaxy Soldier, which could either make a Nova into Infinity, as I already mentioned, or perhaps a Constellar Pleiades for a bouncing effect. Tachyon Transmigration is also a very good counter trap that not only negates everything in the chain before it, but also shuffles all the negated cards on the field into the deck. This card is very, very good, and obviously in some other decks would probably be broken to the point of being banned, but as it stands right now, it's just a very good card in a rogue level strategy. Going second, you have a lot of really powerful rank 8 monsters and even rank 9 monsters. Things like Galaxy Eyes Cypher Dragon and also Galaxy Eyes Cypher Blade Dragon are still really good options even in 2020. You might have seen these cards in decks like Blue Eyes or other rank 8 based strategies. They were good in those decks, and they're obviously really good in their own deck as well. Okay, so now we know the starters, the extenders, and the main ending boards for these two archetypes. What are the biggest downsides of these decks? Because I do want to mention that these decks are not perfect. You know, obviously they have not been in competitive play for quite a while. In the case of Photons, pretty much never. So what are the big drawbacks of these two strategies? Well, in the case of Inzectors, I think by 2020 standards, they are way too normal summon reliant. If your opponent simply has one interruption for your first Dragonfly or Centipede, your entire combo pretty much crumbles. 8 years ago, when this was one of the top strategies, the game was a lot slower than it is today, as you guys probably can imagine. Sometimes when your initial combo got stopped, you could just set a Call of the Haunted to revive the Dragonfly or the Centipede and try again on the next turn. Nowadays though, you really can't do that, so I think that the number one thing that this deck would need if it got a new card would be a really good extender that doesn't require your normal summon. Something that maybe could special summon itself right from your hand would be pretty welcome for the Inzector deck. With Photons, it's a little bit tricky because I do want to mention here that in the OCG they have Galaxy Eyes Afterglow Dragon, a very good card that we don't have in the TCG, so I'm not going to say that they need a card like that because eventually we'll probably get that in our format as well. So what I really think Photons need after watching the deck get played over the years is a better going second card, because they do have a lot of combo enablers going first, and they do have a lot of really good starters and extenders, but when they're going second, they don't really have a lot of consistent ways to break the opponent's board and still have enough resources to build their own board up. So I think a going second card would be very good for Photons because they really struggle in that area, but also maybe it could have a free special summon effect just in general, so it's good going first as well. Anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say for today's video. Like I said, I will put a link in the description below to Konami's tweet where you guys can go vote on your favorite deck or whatever deck you want to win the Create a Card. Personally, I don't really care which one you guys vote for. I think both of them are fine choices. I just wanted to make this video so that you guys could better understand how the decks actually worked so that you could make your own opinion and vote for whichever one you decided on. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.